What is happening, Magnus? So, I'm hearing Marvel actually released this. I don't know if that's true or not, but let's hear this, shall we? All right. Get over and follow the Cosmic Wonder. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you.
First 3 pages of the Spider-Man Brand New Day script. So essentially we have the beginning of the movie here. This has been provided by Marvel Studios themselves.
That's what I had heard.
To Entertainment Weekly for an exclusive article titled What We Learned from Spider-Man Brand New Day Script Pages. New suit, opening scene, and more. So we're going to go over these 3 pages and basically go over the beginning of the film. What is going on, Cosmic Crew? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here today. This is insanely cool. I'm trying to think of a time where Marvel did this before, and I can't really
scripts look like that too. You be having notes all over the place sometimes.
recall. I really like this different marketing that they're doing for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and hopefully for Avengers Doomsday pretty soon as well. And they've already done some pretty different marketing, as in the chair video that we got. But let's take a look at this, because I find it very, very interesting, because they also have notes for the script as well, giving us a lot more context of what is really going on in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So, let's start off with, of course, the first page, where it starts and it says, over studio logos. So the studio logo is going to show, and this is supposed to go over the logo. It says, Peter Parker reads the letter. That's in all caps. The letter is clearly going to be important. I think most of us know what that letter is. It's the letter that he wrote to MJ, and he does read something in here, so we'll get into that. The one he brought to the donut shop at the end of No Way Home. The one he never read to MJ. So he wrote this a while ago. And as you can see in here, as we'll get into, they do a time jump in the beginning of the film. So it says, Peter voiceover. Hi, my name is Peter Parker, and you don't remember me, but I have something to tell you that's going to sound crazy, but it's the truth, and I know you're going to believe me because you're very good at telling when I'm lying. So let's talk about the notes before we go further into the script. Marvel flip card showing the memories Peter no longer shares with Ned and MJ and Aunt May. Back to the Future. Peter Parker vanishing from existence like Marty. So I know a lot of people were asking, how exactly are people going to not remember Peter Parker when there's pictures and such of him? And his name is on documents and such like that. Well, it seems like literally he just vanishes from existence. Any picture of him, he just gets erased.
Wow.
It's just crazy. And I kind of like that they're kind of doing the Back to the Future thing, right? His name.
Yeah, because then if everybody didn't remember him, then he would be in different pictures. He'd be in MJ's phone, be in Ned's phone, be on, websites, this high school. He'd be in the yearbook. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Should just simply erase off of these documents. He himself will just be taken out of any photos that happen. Kind of crazy. That's pretty intense. That would be really psychologically really hard to deal with. And they really go into that in here.
God,
for example,
can you imagine that?
This says that for the first time, Peter is entirely alone. And they make a lot of points of talking about that. It says, Peter, small in frame, in center of the room, alone, empty, only work, nothing else. No more Stark money or gadgets. All of his tech needs to have been made by Peter. They make it a point, a lot of these notes make it a really big point to say that Peter is alone. And we're about to talk a little bit more about his mental state. So it says, fade in. The same place from the end of No Way Home, 9 months later. So they're talking about his apartment.
The apartment,
at the very end. Peter sitting at his desk, strapping a web shooter to his wrist, loading 4 cartridges into slots. He designed this himself. Suddenly,
of course, he designed his first web shooters himself, so, I don't know why they put that in there, you know what I mean?
Sharp headache, our first inkling that living completely in the shadows is taking its toll on Peter. Something is changing. That's italicized, so that's going to be important. And maybe not for the better. Peter shakes it off, hoping it's nothing.
He's got to show that look.
Say, signs of unhealthy living. So again, they're going to really talk about Peter's mental health in this. And when it says something is changing and living in the shadows is taking its tolls on him, we know obviously that he goes through some type of metamorphosis.
Marvel's going to show pizza boxes all over the place and soda cans and stuff like that.
They showed us this in the trailer, plus we had heard the reports about it a while ago. So clearly he gets organic webbing. It doesn't seem like they're going to do the man spider route, so it seems like they're going in a different direction. But we know DNA and mutations are going to be a big part of this movie. Whether that's Venom or him just getting organic webbing and going through the...
Other than being man spider, for my Spider-Man fans, when I was collecting Spider-Man, I collected Spider-Man from, I would say, around 4th grade. Somewhere until my late teens, early 20s. It was somewhere around there I stopped. But I don't remember any stories of where him getting organic webbing. Now, I could have missed something. I know with Man Spider, he gets organic webbing, of course. But other than that, is there any time in the normal timeline, in the main timeline, that he gets organic webbing? I can't remember any.
Different stages, life cycles of a spider. We'll have to wait and see. But
I know from the Venom outfit, from the symbiote. Yeah, I know. You know, but I'm talking about from him.
You know, he changes and basically goes through metamorphosis. But before we get any deeper in today's video, I want to show you something that honestly feels like it came straight out of 2050 description. So this part's really interesting. He has an AI assistant, essentially. It says, Peter says this, E.V. E.V. Could you check the calibration on my targeting matrix that doesn't feel zeroed into me? Peter's AI assistant, E.V., starts running numbers on the computer. The notes say that, sadly, the closest thing Peter has to a friend, pointing to E.V. And that is kind of sad, but I think it's also a reflection of the times that we live in right now. Meanwhile, Peter's eyes wander to a dresser nearby. Ned's Lego Emperor figurine sits on top. He looks at it longingly, then looks down to a drawer. He goes over to it. Bing! An alert pops up on his phone. Flowers for May. He rifles through the drawer until he finds the coffee cup MJ gave him. That's in all capital. So that's clearly going to be very important. He picks it up and removes a piece of paper from inside, unfolding it to reveal the letter. So at first he is just speaking, it's not actually showing him reading the letter, and then they finally show us that, okay, this is a letter that he wrote, and he wrote this to her right after the events of, or actually during the events of No Way Home at the very end. So Peter voiceover, we used to know each other, we were, ... together. Reveal the source of the narration here, which basically just means reveal the letter. He's reading the letter. As he reads, his homemade fabricator patches up his suit. And it says that this homemade fabricator is Peter's version of the fabricator, a 3D printer on steroids. Something that could be made by a kid genius with limited funds. So he is completely on his own. They're making that a big point. Not only is he just alone without MJ, Ned, Aunt May, but, you know, no more help from Happy, Tony Stark, obviously. No more help from Stark Industries. Nothing. He is completely alone doing everything by himself, which I think a lot of fans are actually going to be kind of excited to see. So, Destin, I think we can fit the camera inside the mask. Macro, eyeball, heck yeah. Brett Pollack, director of photography. We've gotten that shot. It was actually a pretty cool shot. I know a lot of people are like, how is there so much space inside the mask? But I mean, come on. That shot was cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, Peter voiceover. But something bad was going to happen to the whole world. And the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget me. Bing! Alert on his phone. New post from Ned. He puts the letter down, looks at his phone, a video of Ned in front of a big banner. Welcome, freshman engineers. Ned on video, first day at MIT, woohoo. Ned turns to his camera to include MJ, who doesn't look happy to be on social media. Ned continues and says, come on, MJ, pretend you're not the happy...
He can freshly get to know Ned again if he wants to. So, we'll see how that works out.
Happiest you've ever been in your life, and then MJ says, like we've seen in the trailer, I can't. The video freeze frames on MJ's blurry face. Peter voiceover. including you. Peter smiles for them, even if he's miserable without them. Now, some of the notes say, let's shoot this on a real phone. We saw this on the real phone. A lot of people were saying, how does Peter afford this really expensive Galaxy? He's Spider-Man. He gets the key to the city. Maybe he gets some money. There's tons of theories out there about how he can afford this phone. Plus, marketing for the phone inside of the movie. Of course, Marvel does this in every single movie. But it says, can we shoot this in one time? Not quite sure. Can we shoot this in one? Not quite sure what that means. Maybe.
It could be that continuous shot type of thing. Could be that.
Question mark. That's from the line producer. Video freeze frames on MJ's blurry face. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I agree. Let's do that. Talking about shooting it on the real phone. Peter smiles for them even if he's miserable. Peter voiceover, because I'm not just Peter Parker. Construction site high above NYC. Dawn. Camera slowly approaches Spider-Man sitting on a steel beam. Peter voiceover, I'm Spider-Man. Mask peeled up. He's looking at another net update. Audio playing low under his voiceover. And sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. Reveal, he's sitting upside down on the beam. Consider standing instead, pacing back and forth on 3-inch beam, 100 stories above Manhattan, upside down, camera crane up and over to reveal the city below. That's obviously not what they went with. They went with him sitting upside down on the crane. So it's really cool to see the notes here, what they almost went with, what they did decide to do. And this is essentially what we saw in the trailer. But here's where it gets kind of interesting. Peter voiceover. Maybe I'll never read this to you. Maybe I'm just writing this for me. Maybe that's my responsibility to live alone with the truth. Me, very important, they say in the notes. That me part is very important. Maybe I'm just writing this for me. I think that this has to do, obviously, with putting himself aside. He's putting Peter Parker to the side, and Spider-Man is taking a priority. He's not really doing anything for Peter. He's doing everything for Spider-Man and for the city. He has completely cast off Peter Parker, which we heard was going to happen in this movie. So I think that's why they're saying, maybe I'm writing this for me. That's important, because he needs to do things for himself. But then we have another note that says, misinterprets what May said to him. Maybe that's my responsibility to live alone with the truth. So this is obviously talking about with great power comes great responsibility. And Peter says, well, it's my responsibility to live alone with the truth. I don't think that's what May meant. And obviously we've heard with great power comes great responsibility for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interpretations of what that can mean. But I think it also has a pretty general and I would say clear understanding for a lot of people. And Peter Parker, I actually think, described it the best in Captain America Civil War, where he said, when you have the ability to do things that he does, where you have those powers to help people and you don't, and people get hurt, that's on you. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that's, I think, pretty much the correct way to view this. Peter's not thinking that way anymore because he's so depressed. He thinks he's just supposed to live alone with the truth, which ultimately, I think, by the end of the film, he's not going to do. So he hops down to a ledge on floor.
I'm sure they'll find out who he is sooner or later.
I love you.
Whether it's in this movie or not.
Something inside you remembers you love me too. As he steps over to the edge of the building, the police scanner on his phone squawks. Trouble calls. Police scanner voice. 10:59K, possible 10:33. SWAT team ETA 15 minutes. How did Tom get a hold of my script is also a note that they put on the side there. Peter voiceover,
That's
or
funny.
maybe not. He pulls his mask down, letting himself fall off the edge. Peter voiceover, maybe right now I just need to be Spider-Man. Again, big part of this movie, he's putting away Peter Parker. He's just Spider-Man.
Makes you wonder if that's the one where you see him
cause him mental
diving.
stress, psychological stress, and eventually it's going to cause him to change. That's one of the big parts. He webs and swings away as music starts to play, and we begin montage.
Good.
Let's make sure the suit has wrinkles. And I actually thought that was pretty cool. As he was jumping down, the suit was actually kind of, wavering in the wind. Yes, person agreed. New suit made by Peter, inspired by his encounter with Tobey's and Andrew's Spider-Man. Real fabric seems Wrinkles, absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. Confirmed. He has taken his inspiration for his new suit from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, which a lot of people guessed because it does, it does look like a combination of both of them. And this just confirms it right here. I freaking love this. I love that he met these other two versions of himself, looks up to them, and took inspiration from their suits and made it his own, which I think is really great. So this is the opening scene of the movie. I love that they revealed this. We've seen kind of most of this in the trailer, which is also great news because it tells us that.
I don't know if it'll be better though.
In the trailer,
like I'm looking at the suit,
pretty early on in the movie, and hopefully that means we kind
I
of
like
don't
the
have
polished look.
Too much of an idea.
All three of the suits had in the other picture in the last picture we just saw, but
it's gonna be hopefully a little over 2-hour movie. There's a lot that's gonna happen, but this is great. I love this. I really love the ending there. Being inspired by Tobey and Andrew's Spider-Man suits. Real fabric, seams, wrinkles. Love it.
Thank you very much there, Wonder. Keep doing your thing, man. So, what do y'all think about this? I think it was cool that they released that to us. I do. I like the details. I like the notes. I like how it showed the process of them thinking things out, how things are going to be shot, how things are going to look, maybe changing things on the fly. That happens. I've been in small projects where you're shooting something and the script says this, and then they literally change it right there. Sometimes an actor takes it upon themselves to ad-lib and change something, The director might have you shoot something 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, 10 different ways, and figure out which one works better. I hope this is good. I'm sure it's going to be good, but I hope it totally satisfies myself as a fan. And, of course, all of us, because that means we keep getting more. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my thoughts, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers.